Hey y'all, hey. Sean back with another wealth building tip. So, you've already figured out what your goal is. You've already calculated your expenses, and now is the time for you to devise a plan, right? So, I'm going to give you an example. Say like your goal is to save $10,000 by the end of the month. You've went through the first two steps already, and then you realize, okay, well, I got $500 a month by the end of each month, right? So then what you want to do then is that you calculate that you know it's only going to be $6,000 by the end of the year. And you say, okay, well, where am I going to get the rest of these $4,000 from to reach my goal by the end of the year? So there's things that you can do. You can DoorDash, you can Uber, you can deliver for Amazon. Um, those are just a few examples. You can get yourself a second job, um, because that's what I did. I already have a second job. I've been working a second job for like a 2 years now. Um, but yeah, we'll discuss me in a second. Um, so those are some of the things that you can do to, get your money up. So when you were back and you were going through your expenses, did you see a few things on there that you probably didn't need? Like you realize you do go out to eat like 3 times a week and you probably don't need to go out 3 times a week. Like you don't need to go out 3 times a week. Maybe you get your hair done. Guys, you're getting haircuts are expensive. Oh my gosh, haircuts are so expensive these days. Guys, maybe you learn how to cut your own hair. Maybe you grow it out. Oh no, that may not be a good idea because then you have to get your hair done. Do you know how to braid your own hair? I don't know. Lock it up. I don't know, but that's still another expense. Look, I'll let you guys figure that out, okay? All right, all right. Women, you're gonna have to learn how to do your own hair. I've been doing my own hair for a long time, guys. I'm gonna give you a little backstory about me doing my hair for a long time. So, I'm from Detroit, but I live in Dallas now, and I've been here for a long time. But like the first 2 years of living here, guys, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not gonna kid you. I used to fly back to Detroit every other month, every 2 months to go get my hair done because I did not find anyone out here to do my hair. And it was like back then, it was super early, y'all, into YouTube. When I came to Dallas, I didn't even know that YouTube existed, okay? Um, and so I learned how to do my hair eventually. I learned how to do my own hair off of watching YouTube videos. And that was, of course, a big expense that I did not need to, factor into my monthly expenses because you think about it. Well, I had people to stay with. All my family is there, so it wasn't a matter of having somewhere to stay. But I will always have to rent a car, buy food while I'm there, get my hair done, pay for a flight. I will have to pay to get to and from the airport from Dallas. So that was a big expense just to go and get my hair done. And so that was an expense that I cut out because I started on YouTube University here and learned how to do my own hair because I was I had my hair done at the shop since I was 6 years old. So I didn't really know how to do my hair without tearing my hair up, which when you left me alone to do my own hair was exactly what I was doing, tearing my hair up. So yeah, that's one expense. I'm sorry I was on a tangent, but I'm just giving you an example of what I did and what I took out of an expense that was unnecessary, right? So what I'm gonna be doing for myself, I do encourage you guys to like seriously go through like what you're doing in the month and figure out what you can cut back on because when you're reaching these financial goals, which I'm gonna get to more in more videos that are coming of you building this wealth, but building it faster than you think you're going to build it if you decide to go the way that I'm going, okay? So I'll tell you about my plan for myself. So I already have a decent amount of money saved up, right? But what I realized, and as I spoke about in the video before, that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say like the banks are misleading when they try to tell you what to do, but they don't, I would say they don't tell you in your favor of what to do, right? With your money. So what I'm going to be doing for myself, I need to do a whole restructuring of where my funds are going to be at right now, because it's that important right now. So one of the first things I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to start investing in the EFTs, and I'm going to do the EFTs that have dividends on it, right? And so I'm going to also do what is called dripping. And basically what that means is the dividends that you receive every month, I'm going to have it automatically go back into the account to give me more. It's not necessarily a share. I hate to say the word share because it's not a share. Like, you don't own anything because it's the top 500 companies. And so you're owning, or you have a fraction. You see how you can't see the space in there? A fraction of a share in these companies. So I'm gonna start with that, and keep adding on to those, constantly purchasing, more and more fractions to build it up, because that's a long-term thing, right? I mean, you can, once you learn things about trading, you can trade them. From what I understand, most people don't trade them, and if they do, it's only just a few times a year, 2, 3, 4 times a year. It's not like a regular thing, because the way that they work is that you have your top 500 companies. Say something happens with a company, then they'll replace that company that's fallen to the bottom somewhere, that's no longer in the top 500, and put whoever is next, in that spot. So it's not like you guys have to worry about, oh my God, American Airlines crashed or something like that, and I need to go and sell my fraction off. No, you don't have to do that. It's already taken care of. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about, which is great, because you don't want to have to worry about it, right? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a certain amount of money into a high yielding savings account. And please don't get fooled, guys, because you can keep your money in a regular savings account. You're not making any dividends off of that. You're not making no money off of that. I was telling a friend of mine how for years, I was just dumping money into my savings, dumping. And then I would get excited at the end of the year because I'm like, oh, it's tax time, and let me see what I got, and it'd be nothing. It'll really, literally be nothing. Not like nothing, like zero, but like nothing, right? And so I was like, okay, I really don't understand savings accounts. But when you talk to the bankers, they're not telling you to go put it in a high yielding savings account. So if you do the ETFs, the EFTs, I'd be messing that up. ETFs, if you do those, then you get about, from what I understand, is about 8 to like 11% on those, right? And I'm gonna let you do the calculation, because I haven't done no calculations right now. I mean, I know how it works, but do the calculation on that. And later on, give me time, I will put up, videos about how to calculate the percentages and stuff like that. I promise, I got y'all. And with a high yielding savings account, you get anywhere between 4 and 5%. What I'm understanding though is that A lot of places are maxing out between like 4.3 and a little less than 5%. However, either way it goes, you put, say, like $10,000 in and you got 4%. Well, that's going to be like at the end of the year, I believe it's somewhere like $400. Who don't want $400? Okay? At your $10,000. But that, I mean, it has to be 10,000 consecutive for that 12 months. It's not going to be, oh, I made it to 10,000 and it's the 12th month and you got $400. No, it's a percentage of whatever is in there at that time. But say you started with 10,000 and you left 10,000 in there for the whole 12 months. $400 is what you're going to get at the end of the year, and then you're dividing that by 12. That's going to be a little bit less than $40 a month that you get on that. But the more money you put in, the more money you're going to have as far as your from your dividends each month. Now, do I suggest you take that money out and spend it? Absolutely not. Let that money roll and stay in that account so that it will keep growing as your account grows and continue to yield you these dividends, right? Just the same way that I would do the excuse me, the ETFs, right? I'm going to let that drip right back into the account so I can continue to get more fractions of shares to keep it growing. Because what I will tell you is that I would prefer you to put it in the ETF more so than I would prefer you to keep it in your savings account, just because the percentage is higher on the side. So you're getting a bigger return back on your money. Now, the things I will say far as the ETFs go, now you're talking about stocks now. Um, it's going to cost you a bit more money to invest in them. But if you had $10,000 to invest in them and get that $10,000 worth, you're already making money right off the rip. But I'll tell you this, if you can't, because some of them are like 300, 500 or more dollars to get just that one little bit of a fraction, right? But you're already making, dividends on that. And then if you got $500, like we discussed, at the end of the month, put it towards another fraction or put it in the high yielding savings account. But you still want to have something to help you go along with putting more money in. And that's like, if you're going to Uber, if you're going to, get a second job, whatever the case is, you want to have another stream of income coming in to continue to add on to this, right? The one thing I would say to you guys is that you really, 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 really got to have 10 toes down on this. And the reason why I say that you got to have 10 toes down on this, because if you're someone who hasn't seen money grow in your account, when you see that money grow in your account, you might want to spend it. But the money is not there for you to spend it. That money is for you to have leverage to keep growing what you already have, okay? Don't feel like you got to go in there and spend some money because it exists, okay? You want to treat that like I don't know, the most precious thing you own in life, and you don't want to touch it, okay? You don't want nobody touching it. You don't want to touch it. If you breathe on it too hard, it might fall and break, okay? That's what I'm trying to say to you. It's precious. Treat it like so. So for all you Jordan people who like to stand in a line to give Michael Jordan more money and Nike more money, what I'm trying to say is that y'all probably should not be standing in that line for a while, okay? For me, like, I'll give you the breakdown. I had plenty of money. I was in my 20s when I started saving money. I'll break you down a real story one day. But even then, I was not that interested in people knowing what I was wearing, right? So for me, I didn't have to have that stuff. But then it was the crowd that I got into. And it was just like, oh, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll buy that. And I know, like, I was saving a lot at that time. Now, I say that at that time, the cost of living has gone up, right? So in today's day, it'll probably still be comparable, right? However, there were things I wanted. Like the one thing I wanted was a BMW, and it only took me like 3 months to save up the money, and I went and bought it. Um, and so that's what I did. But then it was like, oh wait, Sean, your clothes, your purses, all of these things didn't match, you know, and not that my stuff didn't look good. It was just that, you know, everybody wants to walk around with the Louboutin shoes, red bottoms. Um, I just really wasn't into it. But after a while, I found myself like, I was like, okay, I'll buy some of this stuff. Y'all, when I tell you, I got a stupid amount of Michael Kors purses in my closet that I never wear. A ton. I started buying the shoes, I started buying the outfits. I was buying Michael Kors purses for my family, watches for my family, just because I have the money. So what I'm saying to you guys, all of that to say, the spending spree is over. We are building wealth. So if you can allow yourself 12 months to not go out there and spend that money, to hold that precious little thing in its precious little place for 12 months. I'm not saying splurge, like splurge, but treat yourself after 12 months. You know, not like $1,000 treat yourself, but like maybe $100 treat yourself to something you want. If you need to splurge each month, don't let it be $100, baby, because if 500 is all you got to save, I'm just saying, instead of going to the movies, make movie night at your house. Netflix and chill. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you wait a couple weeks for that movie to go from the theater to Disney, to Netflix, to Hulu, to whoever, okay? Whoever you got, okay? All right, so enough of that. Let me check my notes here and see if I have told you guys. Oh, I didn't finish telling you about, oh, geez. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Okay, all right, I'm back. So I didn't finish telling you guys about my plan. So right now, I have my full-time job. And I have been working on Saturdays for 6 hours, right? Every Saturday for like 2 months. 2 years. And what I was doing with that money for every Saturday, I go on vacation a lot. So I was using those 6 hours every week to pay for my trips. There was a couple of trips that I ended up having to take out of my regular, checks because they toppled well over $2,000. So I ended up having to spend money on those. But that's what I've been doing. I'm getting ready to pick up another job, a third job, right? So combined, I'll have about 20 hours that I'm gonna be working extra a week. So it's gonna put me somewhere around 60 hours a week. And with those extra 20 hours a week, now think about it, 20, 40, 60, 80, that's one whole check, right? So since I'll be working what is called PRN in the medical field, it's called PRN. Since I'll be working PRN, I'll be making more money than I'm making at my full-time job in that one check for that. So you're comparing checks is what I'm trying to say. So one check that I make in 2 weeks, in the 4 weeks of working those extra 20 hours each week, I'll make more money than that one check in those 2 weeks. And the reason why is because you get paid $3 to $5 more because they're not paying us any benefits. I know what you're asking. I know what you're about to say. Well, why aren't you doing that full time then? Quit the full-time job. No, I can't do that. And the reason why I cannot do that, now, For some people, it might be okay to do that. But for my plan, for me to execute a good plan, I cannot do that, right? Because I have to have the guaranteed 40 hours a week, right? My extra 20 hours is not guaranteed. They call it PRN because it's as per needed. So if they decide that they don't need me that week or that day, I don't have funds for that day. So that's why I cannot do it full time. However, as of right now, that's going to be my plan. That extra money that I was using for vacations, baby, don't let me lie to you. Because I normally would take a trip every month, sometimes twice in 1 month. I have done it several times this year. In 2024, I have done it. I shall not be doing it. But what I will say is that I'm not going to say that I'm not going to take a trip, because I will still probably take some trips, right? So snowboarding is what I wanted to do, which was my next trip that actually is going on right now. As of December 15th, I think it started, out in Colorado, and I didn't get to go because I'm building wealth here. So there's another one coming. I'm not making that one with my friends. I would love to go, but I'm not going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Detroit, because we have a small resort in Brighton, Michigan, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go snowboarding, because I have a place to stay and a car to ride in. All I have to do is pay for a flight and my lift ticket. That's going to be the cheapest way for me to go snowboarding this season. And so for me, because I'm going to be starting with a little bit more money than most people, right? In this whole wealth building thing. So I guess I should say that to you. It's not like a catch, but I'm building to $1 million, and you would typically, now, baby, I done seen some stories. You can do it. Even without the money, starting from right now, you can still make the $1 million in a year. I'm just starting with a little bit more than most people are going to be starting with. So I'm going to take some trips, because these are trips that I have been doing for years. I'm not going to stop doing them because I'm building wealth. However, most people will tell you to absolutely stop taking those trips, guys. So I don't know how many trips I'm going to take. I just know that there's at least 3 of them that will be had. I will make them the cheapest trips I possibly can. I have people I can stay with. I can use their vehicles on these trips. So it's going to be more so of a matter of getting there, which will be my expense and paying for food. So I have already narrowed down a way to make them cheaper. Instead of me getting an Airbnb or a hotel or whatever, I've already narrowed down a way to make that cheaper. So if you do have some obligations that, is obligating, then just look for the best way for you to break that down to spend the least amount of money, okay? All right, so I think that I have talked you guys' heads off about what I'm gonna do, about what you can do, because it's time to execute a plan, y'all. It's time to execute a plan, y'all. It's time. All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about this plan in the next video. All right, y'all. Till next time. Bye.